Few people notice this. When Woody decides to leave and say goodbye to his friends, and no longer wants to be Bonnie's toy, many people think he chooses to stay in the end, only because he loves Bo Peep deeply. But the real reason holds far more sadness. If you remember, ever since Woody came into Andy's life, he has always been the leader of all the toys. Other toys would come to him for help when they got into trouble. But after Buzz shows up, Woody once feels his place has been taken away. Woody thinks his leadership is being challenged. Still, Woody manages to find his place again later. But after Andy and all the toys are given to Bonnie, all the toys have to adapt to a new life and new changes. Woody is no longer the toy who leads everyone. He is just an ordinary member among many toys. Yet when Woody discovers his past, we realize he actually knows nothing about his origins. He does not remember Jessie at all, and he does not know which toy line he belongs to.
Why, you don't know who you are, do you?
In contrast, Jessie remembers everything that happened to her clearly. Even Buzz remembers. Even right after she is taken out of the box, all her past experiences remain fresh in her mind. Some people guess Woody cannot remember the past, because Woody is a toy from the 1950s, Jessie was made in the 1990s, and Buzz is an even newer toy. But the truth closer to the story might be, Woody never got the chance to watch the cartoon series starring himself. That cartoon was cancelled a long time ago. Why did Ironheart make so many people dislike her with just one sentence?
Do you think Tony Stark would be Tony Stark if he wasn't a billionaire? No shade. That's just the way the world works.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps!
But what truly made Tony who he was never his money. Tony Stark built a circuit board at 4. At 6, he assembled an engine. At 17, he graduated from MIT. And at 21, he inherited Stark Industries, turning it into the world's largest weapons manufacturer. One day, Tony personally demonstrated the new Jericho missile to the US military. On his way back, terrorists ambushed him. A missile exploded nearby, sending metal shrapnel into his chest. When Tony woke up, he found himself imprisoned inside a cave, with a crude electromagnet attached to his chest. Dr. Einstein explained that it was stopping the shrapnel from reaching his heart. If the power went out, Tony would die. The terrorists forced Tony to build the Jericho missile, but he refused. As they dragged him outside, he saw the camp filled with Stark Industries weapons. That was when Tony realized his inventions had fallen into the hands of ruthless criminals. Determined to escape, Tony pretended to cooperate and secretly worked with Einstein on another plan. They dismantled the missile for materials and built a miniature arc reactor to replace the electromagnet in Tony's chest. Then Tony revealed his real plan. He wasn't building a missile. He was building a suit of armor. The two worked day and night, piece by piece, until the armor was complete. When the terrorists stormed the cave, Einstein sacrificed himself to buy Tony enough time. Tony completed the activation sequence, put on the Mark I armor, and fought his way out. He destroyed the terrorists and every Stark Industries weapon in the camp. Then he launched into the sky, eventually crashing into the desert when the fuel ran out. After returning home, Tony shocked everyone by announcing that Stark Industries would immediately stop producing weapons. From that moment on, he devoted himself to building better armor. He upgraded the arc reactor and repeatedly tested the flight system. His first tests were disasters. During one flight, the armor froze at high altitude, nearly causing the entire system to fail. Tony activated the air brakes, broke through the ice, and regained control. Back in the lab, he realized the armor was still too heavy.
Kill power.
So he rebuilt it with a gold titanium alloy, making it lighter, stronger, and more resistant to freezing. The red and gold color scheme was inspired by an old car left behind by his father. And finally, the iconic Iron Man armor was born. Spider-Man desperately tries to tear the Venom symbiote off his body, but no matter how hard he pulls, the black suit quickly grows back. Just when Peter is about to lose hope, he realizes that the church bells cause the symbiote intense pain. Using the sound of the bells, Peter slowly separates the symbiote from his body. Eventually, the black Venom completely falls off him and lands on Eddie. After Eddie merges with Venom, his strength is far greater than before. The two quickly merge together. With his incredible new abilities, Eddie doesn't immediately go after Peter for revenge. Instead, he heads into the city and finds Flint Marko, the Sandman. The two both want to defeat Spider-Man, so they decide to team up. Eddie kidnaps Mary Jane and traps her high above the ground, forcing Peter to show himself. Peter knows it's a trap, but he still puts on his Spider-Man suit. When Peter arrives, the crowd starts cheering. He jumps onto a taxi, planning to rescue Mary Jane, but suddenly Venom launches an attack. Venom tears the roof of the car apart with one hit, and grabs Mary Jane to keep Peter under control. While Peter is distracted, Venom violently slams him into the ground. Seeing this, Sandman gathers the sand and transforms into a gigantic body before charging into the battle. Mary Jane is in danger. Just as Peter is about to rescue her, Venom wraps a symbiote tendril around his neck. At the same time, Sandman repeatedly pounds him with his fists, watching the woman he loves right in front of him. While being unable to protect her, Peter almost gives up fighting back. Just as Sandman is about to deliver the final blow, Pumpkin Bomb suddenly appears. The next moment, Harry arrives on his glider as the Green Goblin to help. It turns out that Harry's butler has finally revealed the truth. Norman Osborn wasn't killed by Spider-Man. He died because of an accident involving his own glider. Harry finally realizes that he had blamed his old friend for all these years. The former enemies now fight side by side, facing the combined attack of Venom and Sandman. Harry uses his glider to defeat Sandman. The sand body gradually crystallizes and disappears. The two quickly rescue Mary Jane. Just after Peter gets her to safety, Venom suddenly tackles him and pins him against a wall. A metal pipe repeatedly slams into him. Just as Eddie is about to finish him off, Pumpkin Bomb suddenly flies over, but Harry arrives just in time. During the struggle, he loses his glider and is badly injured. The deafening sound of the metal pipes makes Venom suffer terribly. Peter finally realizes that sound is Venom's greatest weakness. Just as Venom is about to kill him, Harry steps in and takes the fatal blow. Watching his friend fall, Peter breaks free with grief and rage. He grabs a metal pipe and creates an ear-splitting noise. It weakens Venom and forces him to retreat. He drives the pipe into the ground, trapping the symbiote. Then he slowly separates Eddie from Venom. As the rapidly expanding Venom monster grows larger, Peter continues using sound to weaken it. He grabs a pumpkin bomb from the glider and detonates it. The massive explosion brings this battle of hatred to an end. However, Harry's injuries are too severe. He eventually leaves this world forever. Maybe this is the fate of Spider-Man. Peter reaches out to grab the Spider-Man suit, but his hand stops halfway. He suddenly remembers that he still has another suit, the Venom suit. This suit constantly interferes with a person's thoughts and mind. Peter is determined to avenge Uncle Ben, so he decides to use this power. Peter leaps off the rooftop. He rushes to the crime scene. The man who killed Uncle Ben has already escaped into the sewers. Peter lifts the manhole cover. He immediately follows him inside. Soon, he catches up with the killer, Marco. After learning that Marco is determined to get rid of him, the two immediately start fighting. Peter shoots webs and ties Marco up. Then he kicks forward and attacks. Marco swings a heavy hammer and knocks him down. Peter quickly dodges. He avoids the train rushing toward him. Then he grabs Marco and slams him hard into the side. The violent impact tears open half of Marco's body, but after he touches the sand on the ground, his damaged body quickly regenerates. His strength also becomes even greater. The two sides once again engage in a fierce fight. The powerful Marco isn't without a weakness. Peter seizes the opportunity. He knocks Marco into a pool of water. Sandman's body begins to break apart. Peter rushes over to a nearby water pipe. He tears the pipe apart with all his strength. A massive amount of water pours out. A huge stream of water rushes toward Marco. Marco gradually becomes unable to maintain his form. Eventually, he turns into mud and sand and disappears. Back at the apartment, Peter feels no joy at all after winning. As he looks at himself in the mirror, he feels like he's staring at a stranger. After struggling with himself, Peter makes up his mind to completely abandon the Venom suit. Meanwhile, Harry regains all of his memories. He drinks alone at home. As he stares at a portrait of his father, Norman, he suddenly remembers that Spider-Man killed his father, and Spider-Man is actually his best friend, Peter. Harry decides to take revenge. He wants to destroy everything Peter cares about most. He finds Mary Jane and threatens her to contact Peter. Otherwise, he will expose Spider-Man's identity. Under the threat, Mary Jane has no choice but to agree. She later goes to find Peter. She lies to him and tells him that she has fallen in love with someone else. No matter how Peter tries to make her stay, she insists on leaving. Watching Peter hide in the shadows and suffer heartbreak alone, Harry smiles with satisfaction. Later, Harry asks Peter to meet him. He deliberately claims that he is already together with Mary Jane. The consecutive emotional blows completely crush Peter. As he prepares to turn around and leave, he catches Harry secretly laughing at him. Anger immediately surges through him. The power of Venom once again begins to consume Peter. He loses control. He brutally beats Harry. Harry pulls out a dagger and fights back. Even with high-quality equipment, he is still no match for Peter, who is consumed by rage. However, just as Peter is about to leave, Harry throws a Green Goblin bomb. Venom completely takes control of Peter's emotions. He becomes arrogant. His mind is filled with revenge. Peter takes Gwen to the restaurant where Mary Jane works. He deliberately acts affectionate with Gwen in front of her to show off. He even goes backstage to mock her. A security guard comes over to remove Peter for causing trouble, but by this point, he has completely lost control. During the argument, Peter accidentally pushes Mary Jane to the ground. Looking at his fallen ex-girlfriend, Peter finally realizes that he is becoming another person. He immediately heads to the top of the church tower. He wants to break free from the control of the Venom symbiote.